Hi, Lee Phillips here. I'm an attorney. Like I always say, don't hold that against me. In fact, I am a United States Supreme Court counselor. And we're in a new setting. I'm not wearing my three-piece suit, but we're still doing YouTubes. By the way, you did hear the one about the attorney who had the farmer as a client. And yeah, we're going to talk about sole proprietorships versus disregarded entities. But this attorney has this client. The guy's a farmer, and he needs him to sign a piece of paper. So the attorney goes out to the farm, and it's a cool morning, and sure enough, the farmer, he's out in the field. And the attorney in his three-piece suit, he hops the fence, and he's trucking across the cow pasture, and he steps in this big pile. I mean, it's still warm. It's steaming. And he looks down at his leg in this big pile in the middle of the cow pasture. I mean, he's up to his ankles, and it's steaming. And he looks down at it, and he says, "Oh my gosh, I'm melting." You'll get it in a minute, boys. Anyway, all right, sole proprietorship versus disregarded entity. A sole proprietorship is not a disregarded entity. It is a sole proprietorship. You file your taxes, you put a Schedule C on the back of your 1040, and that's it. You have no entity to disregard. It's you. A disregarded entity is an entity, and the IRS treats it as you. So an LLC can be a disregarded entity if you choose to have your LLC taxed as if you were a sole proprietor. At that point, you're going to use your Social Security number. You don't go get an EIN, an employer identification number. You don't get a tax ID for your LLC. It is your Social Security number. Everything in the LLC goes to you. It ends up on Schedule C, and it goes direct on your 1040. I don't really like Schedule Cs because anybody in the IRS, any agent, can audit a Schedule C. If you have a Subchapter S entity, for example, your chances of audit drop from about 2.8% to about 0.2%. That's a pretty big drop, guys. That's a tenfold drop. So on the Schedule C, if you're making a ton of money, we got to do something else. That's an audit flag. But for the little shop, mom and pop, hey, use the Schedule C. That's fine. And just file your 1040 just like you always did. If you are a sole proprietor, you do not have an entity. If you have an entity, and by the way, I have a whole nother YouTube video on disregarded entities, so look at that. There are a lot of entities that are disregarded besides an LLC, but you've got your LLC, you choose to have it taxed as a sole proprietor. By definition, that means that you only have one member, one owner of this LLC. And by the way, you might have an asset protection problem with only one member. In a dozen states or so, one member does not get the charging order protection, and I've got a whole nother YouTube video on that. So make sure you look at that. In fact, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube videos. You're doing a lot of these, and when you subscribe, you get notice that it's coming up. So this is Lee Phillips talking about the difference between a sole proprietorship and a disregarded entity.